Welcome everyone, Dylan Jamila here today with a brand new video for you and a topic of mine that is of my favorite. And we're going to talk about the best steroids and PEDs for muscle hardening. Okay, we all know that I'm more of a cutting guy, always have been, always will be. No matter who likes it and who doesn't, that's just my preference. So this is obviously areas where my familiarity in terms of use is a lot higher. So let's just jump right into it. Now, let me just quickly say, generally most of these are going to be steroids. I'm going to throw a couple other compounds in there, but generally mostly steroids on this one. But I will start quickly with the SARM S4. S4 is going to act as Winstrol does. It's not going to be as strong or the same, but it is the best alternative to steroids in terms of muscle hardening that you're going to find out there. S4, also known as Andrin, is a SARM, and it is one of the best out there for muscle hardening with lower amounts of side effects. RAD140 is another SARM I wanted to touch on real quickly in terms of muscle hardening. Absolutely excellent for vascularity, just like S4. Not to the extent of muscle hardening as S4, but definitely will provide a lot of nice, hard, lean muscle and dense muscle tone and look. So in the steroid world, what are the best of the best of the best? Well, you're going to find arguments here on the top, like if I was to rank them 1 to 5, I guess. So I'm not necessarily going to rank them because some people argue Masteron over Winstrol and vice versa. I'm going to argue for Winstrol in that case, and I've done a comparison of Masteron versus Winstrol. But let's just make a list and not get into all this small-time BS talk that really doesn't mean anything anyway. So the best steroids for muscle hardening. Well, I just named 2. Let's start with Winstrol. My favorite in terms of muscle hardening, because that's my body's response to the muscle hardening effects, is the best. That doesn't mean it is for everybody else, and a lot of people can't tolerate Winstrol, but let's focus on what it does. Winstrol is going to make you veiny in places you didn't know you could get veiny in terms of vascularity. What I like about Winstrol is it adds more lean muscle than Masteron does, and so you're getting a little bit bigger in the process while still hardening to just a tremendous extent. For some reason, it hits me harder personally in terms of the hardening effects, but you're going to find that most people run Winstrol in the back end of a cycle quite often to polish it up and finish it off or to get ready for a show. Now, Winstrol is an oral steroid, so you need to limit it to 6 weeks, as we know, and it's very toxic, and that's one of the things where you can argue Masteron being better because you can run it longer and it less side effects. But the hardening effects from Masteron are damn near second to none in what it can do, and it's at the top of my list. Now, one that will probably be argued as stronger than both Winstrol and Masteron for muscle hardening is halotestin. Now, let me just explain something to you, which I have to do every time I bring halotestin up, because guys that have never ran anything or whatever will go, oh, I want to run Halo. Listen, Halo is not for a beginner. It's one of the strongest anabolics out there. It's for experienced users only, okay, and it really shouldn't be used at all, to be honest, unless it's for something very, very significant, some sort of extreme show, an MMA fight of higher importance, etc. But it doesn't need to be used. Okay, but the muscle hardening, it's going to make you hard as nails. And I always say hard as nails because it really will make you hard as nails. I mean, it is intense on how hard it gets, but it's also intense on how aggressive and how side effect riddled it is. So keep that in mind. But halotestin is definitely one of the best for muscle hardening. Masteron, as I said. Masteron is a pure aesthetic, basically. You will see other benefits from Masteron, but I always tell people if you're at a higher body fat, you can use Masteron and still get benefits. I hate when people say, and I used to be one of those people, and I can tell myself, hey, you're ignorant for saying that in the past when you were younger, that, oh, if you're under 10, you shouldn't use it if you're under 10%. But I want you to understand, if you are not in that 10% or under range, you will not see Masteron shine. Okay, that's the point. So it's kind of a waste in terms of a waste of money and time, because you're not getting what the real benefit of Masteron is. See, Winstrol's got other benefits to it, right? But Masteron is basically used to really, really harden up and tighten up, but you already have to be a certain level of body fat to see that tightening and hardening go on. Okay, because it is just so aesthetically pleasing, and that's what it's aimed towards, is aesthetics, aesthetics, aesthetics. You'll get a little bit of strength. You're not going to get much size from it. You get a little bit more aggressive, being that it's a DHT, but the lower the body fat you are, the more that Masteron will truly shine in what it does, and that is to be a pure aesthetic. Then we got to look at Trenbolone. I mean, Trenbolone's like, I swear every video I do, whether it's the best steroids for cutting, the best steroids for strength, I mean, Tren is like in everything. It's the king. And of course, with muscle hardening, Tren is obviously going to be on there. It's not as good as Masteron or Winstrol in terms of hardening, but it's right there. I mean, it provides slabs of lean muscle, and with the nutrient partitioning effects, you can get away with eating a lot worse with tren than you can with other steroids, and it's still going to make you hard, and it's still going to make you veiny, and it's still going to make you cut fat because of all the lean muscle that you're gaining. So it's definitely got to be on the list. I don't think it could ever be off the list of damn near anything, except for something you should use on a first cycle, which it would never be on that, or a second cycle. But tren is definitely on that list. Primobolan, my favorite. Primobolan is excellent for muscle hardening. It's not going to be as strong as Winstrol, Masteron, or the others that I've listed, but it's definitely got to be on this list. Primobolan is consistent lean muscle gain throughout, definitely lean as can be, and perfect for muscle hardening. My best friend in the world, Anavar, has got to be on the list because it really is good for muscle hardening. It's really good to finish with at the end of a cycle. It's not as intense as Winstrol in terms of hardening, but it does help to rid of little stubborn areas of fat and can definitely help provide harder muscles. There's some honorable mentions we need to put on there as well. Proviron and Equipoise definitely should be an honorable mention because they can aid in muscle hardening. They're not going to be near the extent of the others that I listed, but both are very lean, very dry. Proviron is not really super strong. Some people compare it to Masteron. I don't. What I love about Proviron is it frees up bound testosterone, allows you to get more out of your cycle. But it can definitely harden muscles, and Equipoise can as well, so they deserve to be on the list. You could argue and put T-Ball on there as well. Definitely not up to par with the others, but T-Ball can make you hard and dense to a point. But the ones that I listed, especially your Winstrol, Masteron, and Halo, those are always going to be at the top of my list for the best muscle hardeners. So those, my friends, are the best steroids for muscle hardening. Always remember, the leaner you are, the better they're going to show off. Okay? That's just the way that it is, clearly. So just keep that in mind. But those are the best compounds, PEDs, SARM steroids for muscle hardening. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.